Hi, my name is Peter Harmathy, and I'm broadcasting live from the Air and Space Museum here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And I'm standing in front of the formidable fighter during the Second World War. This is called the Spitfire, and you can kind of see the Spitfire right here. The Spitfire was important in that it was a fighter, and then downed a lot of aircraft, the Luftwaffe aircraft, the German aircraft during the Second World War. The Spitfire was almost equal, probably maybe superior in technology to the Germans' Messerschmitt fighter aircraft, and it played a crucial role in the Second World War, and particularly also in the Battle of Britain. Now let me bring you over to another aircraft which was probably more important than the Spitfire during the Battle of Britain. And let's just walk over here. It's this aircraft here. This aircraft is called the Hawker Hurricane. And the Hawker Hurricane, although it was outclassed by the Spitfire, it played a very important role during the Second World War, particularly in the Battle of Britain, because with very skilled pilots, it was able to down 80% of the German aircraft that came over Britain during the Battle of Britain, and then it basically won the war in the Battle of Britain and turned all the German Luftwaffe back home. So this is the aircraft that basically won the Battle of Britain. So that's not exactly what I want to talk about. You see, I have limited knowledge about these aircraft, but I do know about them somewhat. Now I want to talk about something that they don't have at this museum. They don't have an explanation on why aircraft are able to fly in the first place. So we're just walking by the Hawker Hurricane here, and we're going to the side view of the wing. Now if you look at the wing is very interesting because it's basically shaped like a bird's wing. This is something that Leonardo da Vinci was not able to figure out. He looked at birds a lot, and he thought that birds held the key to flight, and that because birds flap their wings, it's the flapping that actually caused the lift. But he was wrong. And it wasn't until maybe, I don't know if it was the 1700s or 1800s, this guy named Bernouilli, who discovered the Bernouilli principle, which actually is a fluid mechanical principle which can be applied to air as well. Now the Wright brothers developed a shape of a wing just by chance, by experimentation. The Wright brothers created their own wind tunnels. So they just did it by trial and error. But had they listened to Bernouilli, it would have been a lot faster and a lot easier. But engineers did catch on, and let me just show you the shape of the wing. You see the wing is a lot, it's rounder at the top and it's flat at the bottom. Now that's important in creating lift in an airplane. Let me explain why. So if you take two molecules of air, and the molecules of air, let's just look at this. The molecules of air pass this way. One of them will split, let's say they're twin brothers. One of them will split and go up on the wing. The other one will go underneath the wing. So the one going underneath the wing will actually go at a certain speed, and then both of them will join up at the end. Now the twin brother who's going on the top of the wing will have to travel more distance to get to join up with his other brother at the end of the wing. So consequently what happens is that the twin brother the molecule ends up running a lot faster to make it to his brother there at the end. Whereas this brother here just has to go straight through. So the molecules split up. The twin brother has to run a lot more to go over this hump to join his brother at the end. Now, that seems like an interesting analogy, but what does it have to do with lift? Well, what it has to do with lift is Bernoulli's principle is that slower fluids, in this case, slower air, tends to create a higher pressure, whereas higher air or faster fluids or faster air tends to create a lower pressure. So you have a differential between the higher pressure here and the lower pressure here, and that causes lift. So obviously, it's not the wind or the flapping of the wings or anything like that that causes the lift in an airplane. It's the shape of the airplane wing and the movement of the fluids or air around it. And that's called Bernouilli's principle. So again, if you want to think of it maybe in a simpler way, you think that this brother here, the molecule is split up, this brother has to go slower and it creates more drag and higher pressure, whereas this brother on top of the wing, twin brother, has to go faster. He goes faster and consequently he creates less drag on the top of the airplane wing. I know it's not a good analogy, but that's the best way I could explain it. So higher pressure here, lower pressure there, causes the airplane to go up. And it's simply Bernouilli's principle. It's just a principle of fluid motion and applied to liquids, and in this case applied to the air traveling over the wing. And the reason an airplane can fly, because it has forward thrust, and the forward thrust causes the air to be forced over the wing. The high pressure here, the low pressure here, and then it creates lift. That's the only reason an airplane can fly, is because of the lift caused by this principle, thanks to Bernouilli. So that's all I have to say today. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you want to subscribe, you could go up there or down there. And if you want to share this video, there's also an arrow which allows you to share the video to anyone. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for my next live broadcast. Bye now.